The Honorable President, the respected Prime Ministers of G20 country, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bali. It is a great honor to serve you here in the island of Love, Bali. It is even a greater honor to share the peaceful vibrations of the island, especially because the most luxurious thing here in Bali is not luxurious hotel, but the peaceful vibrations of the island. Some of my Western spiritual friends even call peace as the ultimate wealth, the only wealth that cannot be stolen. For that reason, as soon as you take off from the Bali airport, make sure you bring the ultimate wealth together with you. As we all know, ladies and gentlemen, in the long, dry and hot season, what we truly need is rainfall. In the long darkness like this, pandemic, war, economic crisis everywhere, what we truly need is beautiful light. The good news from Bali, there are many lights here in Bali. To make the story much more interesting and inspiring, in the year of 2004, the former US President George W. Bush, on the way to Canberra and transited here in Bali, meeting one of our Hindu priests at that time, Mr. George W. Bush, shared a beautiful story and raising a touching question. In certain night, NASA satellite circling around here in Indonesia, all islands were dark except the Bali Islands, which keep shining the light to the sky. Mr. George W. Bush raised a touching question. What kind of light was it? I do not know what was the answers of our Hindus, Bali's Hindus priests at that time. But one thing for sure, I will answer the questions of Mr. George W. Bush by what happened in the history. In the year of 1998, there was social riot in the capital city of Jakarta, and many Jakartans moved into Bali and finding the home of harmony here in Bali. In the year of 2002, 1 year after September 11 in US, human tragedy of terrorist bombing also happened here in Bali. No angry, no violence. I myself, as a spiritual teacher, experienced it personally, the quality of our relationship among different religious followers even strengthening after the bombing. Back to the questions of George W. Bush, what kind of life was it? It was the life of harmony. The curious question then, what is the Bali sources of light? Some of you who learn quantum physics, especially from Dr. David Bohm, will deeply understand. The collective human mind for 1,000 years can change the small thing like atom, it can also change the great things like the surrounding universe. The unique things about the Balinese collective human mind, represented by 1,000 years of ritual, it does not separate between lower and higher. It does not separate between negative and positive. For your information, there are 3 rituals here in Bali in general. First of all, providing offering to the higher realms like gods and goddesses. Secondly, expressing love to brother and sister in the human realm, manusayatnya. The first one is devayatnya. The third one is bhutayatnya, providing food and building home to the lower realm, include the realm of Satan. It does not mean that Balinese elder worshipping Satan, certainly not, but it is an expression of perfect and unconditional love. You see, in the collective human mind of the Balinese for 1,000 years, the lower is not separated with the higher. And the most important thing is the negative is not being removed. That is the first source of light of the Bali. The collective human mind for 1,000 years represented by ritual, it does not separate negative with positive. The leadership consequence of this Bali finding is very clear. We no longer live in the cycle of the time when the most important task of the leader is removing the negative. Especially as soon as you remove the negative, you also remove the light. When you remove the light, there is only one thing left here on earth: darkness. That is the first Bali source of light, the collective human mind for 1,000 years. It was concluded by quantum physics. The second Bali source of light, in the beautiful place where the sacred mountain, it is the symbol of positive energy, embraced by the sacred ocean, symbol of negative energy. At that place there is source of light, holy temple. And one of the very important example is the holy temple of Uluwatu, not far from Nusa Dua, the place where we meet. The conclusion: far before Thomas Alva Edison discovered the light of electricity, Balinese elder has deeply understood light does not appear by removing the negative. Light appears by synthesizing the positive and negative. The leadership consequence of this Bali finding: we no longer live in the cycle of the time when the task of leader is always removing the negative. No. But the most important task of the leader is synthesizing the negative and the positive. I will go into detail later about how exactly the leader can synthesize the negative and the positive. The third Bali source of light is how the New Year is celebrated. I've been traveling around the world, spending few years of my beautiful time in young age in the small town of Lancaster near Manchester, UK. I attended top management course at INSEAD, Fontainebleau, 45 minutes from Paris, traveling around Asia for the sake of the teaching, and I come into the conclusion: Bali is the only island where the New Year is celebrated with the Silence Day. We know already what happened in the movement of New Year in every corner of the world. Crowded party, crowded, very noisy. And the specific things about Bali, we celebrate the New Year with Silence Day. The message to be delivered, human words are energy which always invite the coming of the counter energy. As soon as you said right, there will be another person call it wrong. As soon as you conclude true, there will be another person call it false. That is the natural nature of human word, as natural as fire which is hot. But the beautiful news from Bali, only in the depth of silence, those conflicting words of human energy completely stop producing another new conflict and violence. Only in the depth of silence. The leadership consequence after this, there is much difference between being leader and being a speaker. Speaker like me tend to speak most of the time, but to be a leader sometimes means to be completely silent and smile. Not the ordinary silence, but silence with a deep understanding. Only in the depth of silence, human words completely stop producing new conflict and violence. Under the light of Bali Silence Day, let me quote the 13th century great poet Jalaluddin Rumi, which said, "Silence is the only language of God. The rest is only poor translation." You can imagine how powerful you are if you speak what Rumi called the only language of God. The fourth Bali source of light is the religions of Hollywood, which is neither Hindus nor Buddhists. It is specifically the local genius of Bali Island. It is not coincidence. The famous psychologist Carl Jung called it synchronicity. It is in our cycle of time where the challenging of our time is very challenging. Some of psychologists in psychology today concluding the most important intelligence of our time is the intelligence of flowing, because one spirit with the religions of holy water. Some of you who read Harvard Medical School Journal, you will know Harvard Medical School Journal highlights many times, if you want to be healthy, learn the psychology of the flow. This is also one spirit with the religions of holy water. The most important reason why there are many problems along the history of human being, because there are so many people using the hard rock logic. You know, when rock meet rock, they will hit each other and producing another conflict and violence. Hard rock logic. Clever person meeting clever person, hard rock logic. Angry person meeting another angry person, hard rock logic. Only when you deeply practice the water logic, then life will be made by less problem. The beautiful thing about water logic, when water meet water, they do not hit each other, they embrace each other. That is also one spirit with Balinese religions of holy water. Above all, only in the depth of the flow, synthesis of negative and positive happen inside, then giving birth to the beautiful light. In other words, as soon as the leaders perfectly flow, there will be synthesis negative positive inside, which make the leaders become the hand of light. See, there are 4 sources of Bali light that will inspire the world after this. There will be another leadership consequence of this finding. We will go into detail into the leadership consequence of this Bali finding. Now we will go into the detail, the leadership consequences of Bali finding. First of all, it is about intelligence of flowing, psychology of the flow, and water logic. When it comes to making decision, thinking is your best friend. However, when it comes to the fruit of your decision, flowing is your best friend. Quoting from A Course on Miracle, one of the famous books in the northern part of America, when you perfectly combine between thinking and flowing, then there is the possibility of miracle. Remember, making decision, thinking your friend. The fruit of decision, flowing is your best friend. The second leadership consequence of Bali finding, the intelligence of the leader is not only measured by the answer that you accumulate, but how skillful you are in raising the question, especially because the best answer is hidden behind the best question. In the moment of making a decision, this is the practice of water logic. We all like 3 blind men who meet the scene in the pen. The blind man who touched the body will think that this is water. The blind man who held the drum will think that this is snake. The blind man who hold the feet, he will think that this is tree. And hard rock logic will raise the question, which is right, which is wrong. The question is misleading. The answer also misleading as well. When it comes to applying the water logic, the question is not which is right, which is wrong, but what kind of animal in certain part is like snake, another part is like tree, in certain part is like water. By then, there is the possibility of finding the solution in the pen. The same thing happens when we try to find the solutions of the war in Ukraine or ballistic weapon in the North Korea. Please don't raise the question which country is wrong. It is a dangerous question. It will give birth to another violence or even another war. The questions of hard rock logic is which country is wrong, which is dangerous. But the questions of water logic is not which country is wrong, but what are the things in common among us. Our nation might be different, our religion, our tradition might be different, but we have one thing in common. We all want to be happy, we all want to be in harmony. That's why my suggested question is not which country is wrong, but what are the things in common among us. The third leadership consequence for Bali finding. I spent much time in my life as a researcher studying the connection between brain and heart and how it will impact the behavior of the leader. The leader will become the source of disharmony in the world if the rigid left brain cooperate with the crying baby in the heart. I'm right, you are wrong. There is rigid left brain. We are true, the other false. We are friend, the other enemy. There is a rigid left brain. What I mean by the crying baby in the heart. keep seeing ourselves as a victim, keep complaining, never see the blessing of the life that is the crying baby within. The leader will become the source of disharmony when the left rigid brain cooperates with the crying baby in the heart. On the contrary, the leaders will become the source of harmony to the world when the flexible brain cooperates with the wise heart. What I mean by flexible brain, it can be left, it can be right, it can be logical, it can be creativity, it can be systematic, it can be instinct. Flexible brain cooperate with wise heart. What happened to Mr. Nelson Mandela, the great poet Jalaluddin Rumi? It is flexible brain cooperate with wise heart. What happened with Mahatma Gandhi? Flexible brain cooperate with courageous heart. What happened with His Holiness Dalai Lama? Flexible brain cooperate with compassionate heart. You see, all the four sources of light grow in different nations, grow in different traditions, but they have one thing in common: flexible brain. For that reason, I do knock your mind and heart as soon as you return back to your home and drink. Make sure you have a flexible brain. No longer you have a left rigid brain. It will make you the source of disharmony. Where flexible brain cooperate with wise heart. I used to end my presentation by singing beautiful song, especially because logical reasoning open the certain gate of the mind. Beautiful song will open the certain gate of the heart. For that reason, kindly allow me to sing beautiful song to the leaders of G20 country who meet here in beautiful island Bali. Mother, how are you today? Here is a note from your daughter. Everything with me is okay. Mother, how are you today? We call the planet that we live as Mother Earth, not Father Earth. The meaning, if you want to be healthy, happy, or even holy here on earth, remember to live according to the spirit of the Mother, not the Father, which is full of tolerance, forgiveness, and certainly love. If you are keen in observing the spelling between earth and heart, the spelling of earth and heart are very similar. The hidden message behind earth can only be saved by the heart. Earth can only be saved by the heart. This is not spiritual philosophy. This is the conclusions of a researcher on energy, in which the vibrations of the heart is 1,000 times higher than the vibrations of the head. That's why in our age, people of the world admire George Washington, Jalaluddin Rumi, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, and His Holiness the Great Dalai Lama. They grow in different nations, they grow in different traditions, but they speak the same language, the language of the heart. Mother, don't worry, I'm fine. I promise to see you this summer. This time there will be no delay. everyone. Thank you from the deepest bottom of my heart, especially to the government of the Republic Indonesia, the respected Mr. Joko Widodo, who has been leading our country in a very successful way. Deep thank you from the deepest bottom of my heart.